Welcome to another 7 Minutes with Matt. I am Matt Rogers, and as always, thank you. I honor your time, and I really appreciate you spending the next 7 minutes with me. And as always, I trust the next 7 minutes of your life is going to help the next 7 days of your week. You're going to take something from this and maybe change a thing or two. And I want to talk to you today about, is what I believe really matter? Or does what I believe really matter? Initially, we would say, well, yeah, what we believe, we become. Or, if you don't believe it, you can't achieve it. And all that stuff is true. I like those slogans, and we've all heard of it. But as always, and I've told you guys this from day one, if you don't believe the Bible, then you're probably not going to like listening to me, because everything I talk about is always going to be backed up by Scripture, and not just a little piece of Scripture and manipulate it to, do a message, but I always search the intent behind it as well, because that's very, very important. And one of my favorite scriptures is found in Mark 9:23. It says, Jesus himself, the letters in red, baby. This is when the man brought his son to Jesus who was seizing, or in modern day terms, had epilepsy, because he was having seizures and he would throw himself into the fire, and, he basically almost died. And this dad brought his son to the disciples and basically said, hey man, your disciples praying on him and he's still sick. If you're willing, can you heal my son? And Jesus says to him, or he says, if you can heal my son, please do it. And this is Jesus's response. He says, Mark 9:23, if you can, all things are possible for the one who believes and trusts in me. We're going to break that down. All things are possible. Okay, what does that mean? All things doesn't mean, well, I'm believing for a Lamborghini, but I ain't going to work at it, but God's going to provide. That ain't what he's talking about. All things mean within the will of God. Well, how do we know what God's will is? You look at the life of Jesus, okay? All things are possible. That means everything, all things, right? How about a good marriage? How about better health? How about leadership, moving up in ranks at work? All things, all of that is in the will of God. Like a good dad would want good things for his children, right? And we saw that in the life of Jesus, right? Jesus never left anybody the same or worse. Always better, always more hopeful. So when you encounter Jesus, life gets better. How many things? All things. All things are possible. For who? For the Christian? No. For the minister? No. For just the worship leaders or the people that have perfect church attendance? No. All things are possible for who? For the one that believes. That means we're all qualified if we want to be. What you believe actually matters, right? That's why the Bible, this is why I am not a big God's in control guy. What is that? What do you mean? That's sacrilegious? No, look at, man, if I chose right now to flip this table over and destroy Eli's studio, someone might come along and say, well, God just knew what he was doing, Eli, when that happened, and you're going to get a better studio from it. So, God allowed that to happen. So, dude, God didn't have anything to do with that. I acted like an idiot, flipped the tables and brewed it. So that's what I mean by God's not in control. Does that make sense? So this is why I'm not a big God's in control, because all things are possible to what you believe. What you believe matters. Faith is the currency of heaven. Heaven moves when you believe. You don't just, the power of life and death is in your tongue, right? You matter. God didn't have you before you were created, and he didn't like that idea. That's why he created you, right? And he created you to move and have dominion and prosper. He created you to win. And all of that is possible if you believe. That's why the Bible also says, as a person thinks, so is he and so does he become. It actually says, as a man thinketh, so is he and so does he become. But a lot of people would say, well, it's just for men. That ain't true, but I ain't going to go down that path. whatever people think they become. As a man thinketh, so is he, and so does he become. What you believe, you will act like, right? Like, if you want to be the best basketball player in the world and you actually believe that you are, you're not going to go to the couch and eat bonbons and Cheetos and just watch Michael Jordan on TV. You're going to go out and you're going to emulate Michael Jordan. You're going to do what Michael Jordan did because you believe, and you're going to start acting it out, right? This is why I'm such a huge advocate for healing and signs and wonders and the supernatural miracles of Jesus. Like, you could pretty much say that I brainwashed myself on the miracles of God. Why? Because basically 75% of Jesus's ministry or something was healing, signs and wonders. Like, it must matter, right? Like, if someone sick comes to you and God heals them, that's going to open up a huge door for ministry, opposed to just, well, God just has a plan for you to stay in this a little bit longer, and ultimately he's going to get the glory and you'll get your ultimate healing when you get to heaven. Dude, if I believe that, a lot of the sickness that I've battled over the years, I'd still be sick. The sickness that my kids have overcome, the diagnosis, the fatal disease that they were diagnosed with, they probably would have died a long time ago if I believed that theology, because what I believe matters. And all things are possible if you believe. That's why I wear Bring Heaven. That's why I have shirts that say only believe. You can do great things based on your belief system. Your belief system will shape the course of your life, because how you do faith is how you will do your life. If you don't believe and expect big things from God, you're going to live a small life. And I have bad news for those of you living small lives. If you live small, you're going to die small. But if you live big and you go after it, God will meet you at your expectation level, your belief level, all those things he put inside of you. He put inside of you for a reason. And that's because he's equipped you with what you need to accomplish those things, if you believe. Now go out there, believe it, change the course of your day, the trajectory of your week, and start believing different. BS, your belief system, will shape the course of your life. So is what I believe really matter? Yeah, it does. So go out there and do life different. God bless you guys, and thank you for joining me on another 7 Minutes with Matt.